Grimwade Family actually showing real life, despite social media feeding us all that real hype. We just some real guys trying to give some high definition to reality. Family acrobatically juggling life, smothered in cracks to avoid eternal casualty trust. It ain't easy, but teamwork make the dream work. It's me, Ella, Hesse, Hosanna, Harper and Hallie, and I ain't forget that has a rage and family.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Grimwade Family channel. I hope you are all doing really well. I just wanted to say a massive thank you to start off with to all of you that are messaging us on Instagram. We've just got so many messages and I thank you all for your gender reveal votes. Today is obviously back to school and for us it's obviously back to homeschool, but I know for a lot of you guys, Grimwade Gang and others who may not be part of the Grimwade Gang yet, and if you're not, make sure you subscribe now. It's obviously back to school time, so we just wanted to share with you what we're doing and hopefully address some of the questions that you may have about how we deal with our homeschooling, and also encourage you as you might be going back to school, because I know for a lot of you it can be an anxious time going back to school. Maybe you're going into a new year, or maybe it's school for the first time, or maybe you've gone up to secondary school or college or whatever it might be. I just wanted to encourage you, because at the end of the day, something that is new is sometimes a bit daunting. So we thought we'd try and share with you how we deal with the things that might be daunting for us as well. So for some of you who obviously broke up back in, what was it, July or what have you, you may have left school with a whole load of homework to do across the summer, or different projects to do maybe, and I hope that you are able to get all your homework or get your project done. Now for those of you that may not have been able to, or maybe you struggled, I just wanted to share something that we've actually experienced. So before the holiday started, my plan was that we were going to keep doing schoolwork across the holidays, maybe not for as many hours a day as we usually do, but we were just going to try and keep things up. Then obviously found out that I was pregnant and I was very sick. Thank the Lord I'm feeling a lot better now. But I just wanted to encourage you, because you know these kind of things can weigh heavy on your mind. You're thinking, oh my gosh, I didn't get done what I planned to do, and oh now I'm not as ahead as I wanted to be, or whatever. You know, there's always time to make up. If you're willing to put in the extra work, then there's time to make up. So for example, with my children right now, they're obviously working away at their schoolwork, and with homeschooling you actually get the freedom to obviously do as much or as little as needs be. So at the minute my plan will be for the kids to hone in on a couple of their subjects that I really wanted them to progress on, and they're probably going to do more pages a day than they did before. Now their workload is not going to be so much that they can't cope, but it's just you know, you have to take responsibility for what you want to achieve in a particular time space, and seeing as we weren't able to get what we wanted to do done across the summer, we'll have to just put in a bit of extra hard work now throughout the autumn so we can catch up to where we wanted to be. I think if the kids have a great attitude and myself and Tim are organised well enough, then that should be possible. But you know, we don't know what might happen in life, but I think that is one of the good things about homeschooling, because it gives you a bit more freedom to work things out the way you may need to work them out. But for those of you obviously that aren't homeschooled and you have to keep to a school schedule, don't fear. Like at the end of the day, the same work ethic, if you apply that and you take, you know, time out of what is maybe usually your leisure time and put in extra work, I'm sure you'll be able to catch up. And for those of you that managed to get all your work done and you're way ahead, well, thumbs up to you, and keep up the hard work, because it's going to benefit you in the future. We as the Grimwade family like to think that if you put in hard work, you're going to get great results, and that's what we try to do with our homeschooling. What is great is that if there is something that one of the children struggling with, then we can home in on that subject and really work hard at that. But if there's something they're flying with, same as those of you that might be at school, you can obviously just maybe just go ahead a bit. I think that's okay. Let me know if you are at school, whether you are actually allowed to do that, whether if you are flying in the subject, do you get to be able to go ahead? Because I didn't actually go to school, I was homeschooled, so I don't know if you have the freedom to do that. Please do let me know in the comment section below whether you do get to kind of go at your own pace or not. So yeah, we can't wait to hear what your experiences are in the comment section below. I'm actually going to go and ask the children now how they're feeling about going back to school, homeschool, and obviously how they are coping with their current workload, and what I've just explained they're going to have to try and do, how that makes them feel, whether they get bogged down by all the work and the thought of the work, or if they just think, well, we'll see what they say. Yeah, okay, let's go to them now. Hey Hairs, you alright? Sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt you.
No problem.
So I wanted to ask you so we can share with our Grimwade gang.
Yeah.
It's time to come back to homeschooling.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that today?
Today I feel quite excited. Like, normally I don't feel like that up to doing schoolwork, but today I feel like more up to doing it because it's a brighter day and I feel more like happy. So I was really like excited to get back to school and I couldn't wait.
Feeling quite positive about it.
Yeah.
That's good to hear. And with your workload at the moment, usually I get you to do about 2 pages of each subject a day. But at the moment, I'm now going to up that to about 4 pages a day because we want to try and get through some of the work that we didn't get done across the summer.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, it sounds okay. Like, if I just focus and do it how I can do it, it'll be fine.
It'll be fine. Okay.
It won't feel like nothing.
Good. I think your positive mindset is definitely going to help you in the task ahead. I'm going to move on to Hosanna now.
Okay.
Hey Hosanna.
Hi.
You okay?
Yeah.
Good. Lovely to see your beautiful face.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So, with your reading,
Yeah.
we did keep it up a little bit over the summer. Not as
We definitely did.
yeah, not as much as maybe Mummy would have liked to, but we definitely did some practice.
Yeah.
Do you feel that you're a bit more confident now when it comes to your reading than you did before we broke up for some holidays?
Yeah, I feel like really more, lots more confident than I did because with some of the words, like there's lines of words and then I can just speed through all of them, can't I? With some of the sentences, but and more on just the single words I can, isn't it?
Definitely. You've definitely made progress in your reading and you are learning to kind of work out words a lot better by yourself, which is better.
Yeah.
So
I could sit down with the book right now and just read, couldn't I?
Yes, that is correct. So that's a positive thing that we've got to do it better in over the summer, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I mean, there's still room for improvement. So are you ready to keep working hard now that
definitely.
now that we're back to homeschooling for the autumn term? Going to put in lots of hard work.
Yeah, lots and lots.
Good. Obviously, not just your reading, but into everything. And you're going to have to do probably a few more pages each time we come to do schoolwork now than you would have done before. What do you think about that?
I like doing it because it makes you not healthier. It makes you what's the word?
Brainier?
No,
More clever?
More clever, yeah. It makes you more clever.
Okay.
So you maybe a person will ask you a question
Whatever
something
question
like
might
10
be.
plus 10. What is that? That's easy. That's 20. But
Okay.
what's that? And you'll just answer it quickly rather than. Let me count this up. 1 minute. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, because if you're putting in more practice.
Yeah, you'll just be like. 20.
Yeah, you'll be more ready to answer whatever questions might come up, whether it's in your maths or your English or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
So the more you fill your head with knowledge, the brighter you'll be able to be, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Right, I'll leave you to carry on.
Thanks.
Halle Bally. Are you feeling positive about being back to schoolwork?
Yeah, I'm so happy with back to schoolwork because then you get more into it because then you get to get back to your
Usual routine?
what are these called?
Maths?
Yeah, maths.
Yeah.
And then it's you can do the 2 plus 2 is 4.
Yes, well done.
And then you can get it and then you put it in the box and then it's quite fun.
Okay, because
So-
I always felt like doing these sorts of things at your age was like doing little puzzles, wasn't it? Because
Yeah.
you're actually doing subtraction today, aren't you? Taking away.
Yeah.
And I think you're very good at getting a book, and if you've been told, being given the instructions what to do, you get on with it quite well, don't you? And I noticed over the summer, Halle, that you were very keen on getting your book out to practice your reading. You were, weren't you? Weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were. And I was very impressed with that, Halle, because it shows that you've got a natural want to try and learn. So with your reading, why do you feel like you are so ready to want to get out a book and read all the time?
Because then you get to read and you get to see what the sentence says, and then if somebody comes over and says, read this, and then if it's the same book, you can actually read it.
You'll be ready.
Yeah.
And the more you learn different words, the better your reading will get, and you'll be able to fill your head with a lot more knowledge, isn't it? Which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know with you, Hallie, the way you are, you always want to keep up with the bigger two, don't you?
Yeah.
You don't want to get left behind?
No.
Okay, well, I think that's a fantastic way of being. And the more you try and work hard, the more you're going to be able to progress. And hopefully, maybe one day you'll overtake these two.
Yeah.
No, definitely not.
I thought you would say that. Because you like to be a...
Winner.
Oh, yeah! You like to be a winner. Off goes the rubber. Okay, perfect. I'm going to move on to Harper now. Hello, Harper.
Hello.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Good. Right, you are now my big girl because you're now old enough to be at the home schoolwork table doing
Yeah.
home schoolwork with us as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yes, and what are we doing today?
Phonics.
We're doing your phonics, that's correct. And we're working in your Jolly Phonics book, aren't
Yeah.
we? Now, we like this book because it has songs to go along
Yeah.
with your letters, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And I think you've been progressing pretty well with it.
Yeah.
Because just like the other two, you're quite keen on getting a book and doing reading.
Yeah.
And to be honest, Harper actually has been very into books from when she's been quite young, actually. From when she was even a baby, she used to sit there with a book and look through it, which I was very happy to see.
Yeah.
So it means you're going to fill this head with lots of knowledge.
Yeah.
Yes, and you'll get very clever, won't you?
Yeah.
Now, why do you think it's important that you can read?
Because I can.
Because you can?
Yeah.
Is it good to be able to read so that you can fill your head with lots of knowledge?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it means that when you're out and about, you'll be able to read stuff,
Yeah.
and then you'll know what to do,
Yeah.
isn't it? And whether that's maybe going to the shops and helping mummy,
Yeah.
you'll be able to read what the different products say,
Yeah.
or whatever it might be. It's going
Yeah.
to be good for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. So, do you like the books that you work in?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
You don't think they're boring at all?
No.
No? Do you think it's because they've got lots of songs and bright colours that they're
Yeah.
good? You think that's good? Okay, I'm glad you do. So guys, a lot of you sometimes ask us, oh my gosh, how do you cope? How do you actually do your homeschooling? Because we've actually had quite a few messages from people saying, I'm thinking about doing it, but I don't know about how I'm actually going to do this. So for us, there's a couple of ways that we can do it depending on how our day is going. Sometimes I sit down with all the children at the table and just kind of start with one, tell them what they need to do, then move on to the next, and have everybody at the table at one time. And even much like in a classroom, if the kids have a question, I tell them it's best they put their hand up and I'll say I've seen you, and then they just wait. And it just means they have to learn patience, which is not a bad thing. But one thing that is key to our homeschooling going well each day is that we start it at the time when Hazariah goes down to his nap. I do have plans for when the new baby comes and maybe Hazariah's not having so many naps, as to what I'm going to do with him. Much like I did with the other children, I will be entertaining him with phonics videos, and also, I don't know if any of you have seen those kind of writing maps that the little children can use. You actually use water and they write on a map, not a map but mat, that's the word. It doesn't get messy, which is good. So I'm going to get one of those for him and hopefully entertain him with that whilst maybe the new baby's napping and these guys are getting on with their schoolwork. But for now, we generally like to try and start once he's gone to his nap, so it just gives us an hour or hour and a half or whatever it may be where we can have a bit more quiet whilst we're doing our schoolwork, because you guys know how Hazariah is, and he can be quite boisterous at times and yeah, needs a lot of attention.
Hezzy is asking a question. Yes, Hez, what's your question?
What is plight? Like, how do you spell it? With Plite or Plight?
Okay, so it's IGHT. That's how you spell plight, and plight means you are in a problem or a problematic situation. I think that's the correct definition of the word.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So as I was saying, you know, he often Hazariah needs attention, and it's just easier when he's in his nap and asleep. But yeah, it's great when the children, obviously throughout their schoolwork, much like Hezzy just did, they're orderly. So order is very important. Hezzy had a question, puts his hand up, waits for us to answer, because I think especially larger families, homeschool work time can get quite chaotic, where there's a lot going on, you've got lots of different ages, but you know, you just have to have discipline and order so that things go the way you want them to go. And obviously you have to make room for when there might be a situation where one child is ill and they need extra attention and they're not doing schoolwork that day, and you've got to mix up the routine a little bit. But I think as long as you as the teacher, parent, are, you know, trying to make sure that you're keeping things in order and kids are exercising emphasizing good manners, it's going to help your homeschooling to go a lot better. So logistically, sometimes I don't actually have them all at the table at once. It can be a bit easier when I work with the older two just together, and I've got one on each side of me, and I can attend to them a lot quicker, and that way I feel like we get through their work a bit more speedily. And then I work with the younger two. It doesn't matter whether I start with the younger two or the older two, but then I kind of work in pairings that are closer to their age groups, and I just find sometimes that works a bit better. But that all depends on what we're doing that day, how much time we have for doing homeschool work, or what we may be needing to get out to. And I think that's some of the freedoms that homeschooling gives you. And also I think sometimes you need to not get bogged down. For example, what used to happen with me is if there was a topic that maybe one of the kids was struggling on in one of their subjects, I used to get quite stressed out about it and think, oh my gosh, you know, I've got to make them understand this. Sometimes we found that just taking a break from it for a minute, even if that's a day's break and you come back to it another day, you've had time as a teacher to maybe look at a better way of explaining it to the children, because that's sometimes the problem. Not that they're not getting it, it might be the way that you're explaining it might not be the best way. And then also I found that sometimes you just have to think, okay, what have I actually used in life that's helpful? What do I need in life that I've learnt from school that's been helpful to me? Do the kids really need to go through this topic? Because one example for me was that in doing division, I think it was, with Hezi last term, the book was explaining like 5 different ways of doing it. And I'm like, well, in life, I've only ever really needed to use this method, so I'm going to teach him that method because I know it works. So I think sometimes you just have to make those decisions as a parent, as a teacher, as to what the correct thing to do is, and not get too stressed out, because if you're stressed out, then it's going to make the pupils stressed out, and you're just going to end up with a really stressed out time. So that would be a bit of positive advice from me to you. So when it comes to either homeschooling or going back to school, I think that if you are able to take things at your own pace, that's a really positive thing to be able to do. But you know, putting in extra hard work where necessary so that you can get ahead, or you know, catch up where you may have been behind, I think if you've got a positive mindset and you're ready to do that, you're going to do fantastic, and that's a great thing to do in life in general. So I hope this video has been helpful to you. I hope it encourages you as you go back to school or back to homeschool if that's the case for you. And again, if you've got any comments or questions, then please make sure you put them in the comment section below. And if you're not following us on Instagram, please make sure you go follow us at the Grimwade Family, and make sure you keep up with all the stories that we're doing on a daily basis, because otherwise you're missing out, and we don't want you to miss out on anything. But anyway, thank you so much, Grimwade Gang, for all your support. We love you guys loads, and all the best as you go back to school. Much love. Bye.
So you think you were right? Bring it on, prove me